Welcome to the MSP Corner podcast. Before we kick off our show, we would like to share what our main objective is at the MSP Corner. Our main goal is to help CEOs build profitable and self-sustainable IT service firms. We are not just providing tools for IT firms, we will be sitting in meetings with you to ensure your IT firm stays on track. The first area we are focused on, strategic sales. IT firms are stuck selling technology or IT support. We will provide you with the blueprint so you position your firm as an added value to your prospects. We will have framework on how to sell value so you influence the prospect into selecting your firm. The second area we see many IT firms struggle in is marketing. 90+% of businesses rely on antiquated marketing methods. The most popular choice, word of mouth. We have proven methods on how to attract the ideal prospect. Our framework will include how to become the online authority and be the business influencer for an industry. The third component to our package, scaling. IT firms walk away from opportunities because they lack the bandwidth or skill set to scale. We have lined up reputable businesses so our members can hire on-demand resources that will allow them to scale their business. The fourth area we will offer help in, selecting the right tools. In order to deliver value, you need the right tech stack. Our platform will offer information on products that are the ideal choice for MSPs. The fifth area we will offer help in is with documentation. Templates are a critical component when building an MSP. We will have contracts, proposals, SOWs, collateral, and much more in the template section. You will have every document you need to start up your managed IT service business. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go to our next podcast. Thank you for tuning into our podcast. I am your host, Fernando Leon. And today we have a guest, and it is the CEO from GetInsync. But before we get started, we're going to quickly go over our agenda so we stay on course with our show. But we're going to give you guys a quick introduction on the CEO, Stuart Holtby from GetInsync. We're going to go over GetInsync's business model. Well, we got some questions for Stuart on what GetInsync is all about, how they help MSPs, how they help them solve technical problems, the MSP world. And Stuart's going to explain co-managed IT, just for those that aren't familiar with the term. And then we're going to discuss how they're solving the co-managed IT challenge, and then the value GetInsync offers MSPs. And then last, we're going to provide you guys with the URL and Stuart's email. So, all right, let's kick this off and let me make a quick intro on Stuart. Stuart is the founder and CEO of GetInsync, and he has been in the IT world for 30 years. He brings that much experience, but he helps managed service providers move from just fixing IT problems to becoming key partners in their clients' business strategies. Stuart's mission with GetInsync is to give MSP the tools they need to work better with internal IT teams, so they show that value IT business leaders love to see. And GetInsync is the platform, and it's built to help MSPs grow by working alongside their clients' in-house IT departments. Instead of just fixing technical problems, MSPs can use GetInsync to become strategic advisors who help businesses make smarter decisions about technology. And this new approach helps MSPs build stronger long-term relationships with their clients. All right, Stuart, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you making time because I know you're a pretty busy guy, but let's get into it.
Yeah,
So
thanks,
tell us,
Fernando.
no
Yeah, thanks
worries.
for having me. Yep, perfect.
Well, tell us a little bit about the GetInsync business model. So take it away.
Yeah. Well, GetInsync, is kind of a, what do they call it? Necessity is the motherhood of invention. And throughout 30-year of running my own MSP and whatnot, this is what we came up with. And GetInsync, just exactly what it's trying to do. It's trying to get all the various different parties within an organization in sync with, the left hand knows what the right hand's doing. And so GetInsync is designed for those advanced MSPs. It was purpose built, for this. For MSPs looking to boost their margins by adopting co-managed IT and partnering with the internal IT teams. And like you said, for those that don't know any what co-managed means, it's really, I guess, the MSP model has been, kind of like taking over the entire IT needs of a company, and there is no internal IT guys, so that would be considered fully managed.
Mhm.
Whereas what we're talking about is really a blue ocean for MSPs is this co-managed IT. The idea is, partnering, not replacing, and so that's what our focus is, and so we have the MSPs and the internal IT departments often face two significant hurdles, and that's really this, indecision caused by information overload and fear of change, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's really what the problems that GetInSync solves. So we can dive into that more, Fernando, as we get along here.
Yeah, no, no, no. My next question was to what made you start Get in Sync, and how does it help MSPs today? Because these guys already have, it's a stressful environment, right? And when you have a co-managed type of scenario, I think it's like you've jumped from the stove into the oven, because there's just even more pressure, because you got you got talented, highly intelligent IT directors, IT managers looking at you. You're like under a microscope, that they're keeping a close eye on your performance, your quality of service. But how are you helping these guys? Well, first, how does it help MSPs today?
Yeah. So MSPs often struggle to differentiate themselves in a competitive marketplace, and where clients may view them as interchangeable providers.
Hmm.
What we try and help MSPs do is really stand out by offering the co-managed IT services. And I get what you're saying, jumping from the stove to the oven, but what we're referring to here is really going beyond that technical support. Not doing their ticketing and their help desk and stuff. Really, what our platform does is helps MSPs really collaborate with that IT director you're talking about,
Hmm.
and the internal teams, and really help align the technology with business outcomes. So it's really uncovering those opportunities for innovation and enhancing that decision making. Like I said, there's kind of like a indecision and fear of change, and it's leveraging all of the GetInSync's tools, frameworks, methodology that can deliver that, right? And so in that regard, it's really elevating the organization, the MSP status. So you're coming in at that level 3. You're not doing more of the same. It's a
Hmm.
completely new opportunity.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And how does GetInsync help MSPs go from solving technical problems to being a key part of their client's business strategy?
Yeah. So the SaaS platform is designed for MSPs and the internal teams to collaborate.
Okay.
So to manage technology investments, and this is done with that whole idea of aligning to the goals. So there's a structured framework. We call it our 8 8s, and we take you through this entire because it changes like the entire framework. It's kind of like that plan, do, study, adjust. And what it really does is provides a framework for you to have that discussion with your client. And now I'm not saying that it's purely for co-managed IT firms. It's also for fully managed, but it kind of works better in that environment where you're trying to work on the business, not in the business, not rushing around putting out fires. You're taking a more strategic look at technology, prioritizing the initiatives, ensuring that every IT investment drives business outcomes. So, and how do you do that? Well, it's really where does all the money go? And so that's
Mhm.
what GetInsync looks to do, is try and look through the lens of a business and have the IT team understand, if you will, the non IT managers understand where all the money goes. And so that's the question it solves.
That would provide some great insight for managers, because if you're showing where, if your platform delivers that type of information, like where are the funds going? Is it, so you're talking about
Everything.
license, okay,
all
manpower?
all the technology spend is,
Really
yeah. So
interesting.
the
Okay.
the view is to take a portfolio view and really look at IT from an investment, not a cost center.
Okay.
And so we're changing, like I say, it's a new opportunity. We're changing the entire conversation.
Hmm.
And how we help you know both the MSPs and the IT internal guys is really expose the iceberg. I always call it an iceberg. So it's the iceberg is what you see, and then there's stuff under the water, right? So
Hmm.
60 to 80% of all IT costs no one sees, right? It's the keep the lights on kind of expense. And so what often happens is businesses and business leaders who don't quite get the entire iceberg
Hmm.
they struggle at understanding where all the money goes. What GetInSync does is it actually transparently exposes all that, so people understand to run that CRM system or the ERP system or whatever line of business system that you're operating. Here's what goes into that. Here are all the components and subcomponents that goes into that, and really allows people to now understand their true expense. And it's not just the SaaS, or whatever, software expense. There's all sorts of other infrastructure that goes into that. So of course MSPs would know that, but we do a disservice to senior management by hiding that from them, because
Hmm.
they, because like I say, we end up getting blamed. So we're actually an advocate for the internal IT department and the MSPs to be able to take forward that, that entire transparency of their budget.
So I did have this next question that I planned to ask, because I had a list of questions here. But one, something that
Yeah.
I just came off the top of my head was, does your team, obviously you provide the platform, but does your team work with the MSP and the internal IT department on getting everything in sync together, or or do
Yeah.
you just give them the tool and you go, okay, go for it, and just
Yeah, yeah. Well,
let them run with
I'm assuming you're kind of
it?
thinking, yeah, so wait a minute, I'm a tech provider. Clients won't see me as a strategic partner. And we definitely do that. And so
Okay.
there's kind of a couple of things. One is we provide the framework and the methods, and that sort of, if you will, the coaching to the MSP to help them get to that. And we meet them wherever they are. I mean, some MSPs are, got bigger customers and some don't, and so forth. So we'll meet them where they are. But the idea is through the framework, like it's kind of hidden within the software, right? So like all frameworks sort of instantiate within the software. So it's not like a big laborious exercise to do. So I always say it's kind of like, the first time you play a hand of cards that you're not familiar with, a card game you're not familiar, okay, let's play a couple of practice rounds.
Mhm.
So we always recommend that the MSP should do it to themselves, eat their own cooking. And once
Mhm.
they've done it to themselves, they're like, oh, I get this now. All the pieces fit together and I can go and do this with my clients. And so that's how we onboard.
Okay.
And we have a whole case study and we take them through, and folks, it's actually quite eye-opening as we go through the onboarding and whatnot, because they're like, well, where where was this before? Kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
All right. Well,
Yeah,
that's
and
good to know.
yeah, exactly.
That's great to know because yeah, who wants to it could be challenging because of just the workload these guys have, right? So implementing a new SaaS could be not only labor intensive but time consuming. So,
Yeah, and
all
that's where we
right.
differ a little bit because the way that Get in Sync work is it's a lot different than other tools where it's mostly internally focused to the MSP.
Hmm.
Whereby with Get in Sync we want the client to log in. So the intention is we're creating this two-sided marketplace,
Hmm.
and what it does is it actually gives those, like I say, the internal IT guys and the business relationship managers and senior managers within the organization the ability to actually interact with the SaaS product. So it's not just a tool for MSPs or for IT. It's really a tool that's designed for the business side to get their hands on it
Hmm.
and actually use the tool as a way in which to have that data driven decision making. So,
Now,
so
go
yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
that's the no. I was just going to say that's where I get it. We've got a lot of people that are very busy, and what we often want to do is get people engaged so that they end up providing like a lot of the input into the GetInsync platform, and
Mm,
they take accountability responsibility for that
yeah.
and start, like I say, it's getting in sync. So it's getting everyone understanding, and this is what susses out things like shadow IT and applications that no one knew existed, and that's what's eating at your IT budget, and pet projects and all this kind of stuff starts to come to light.
Mhm, mhm. So, what challenges do MSPs face that you've seen because you've been doing this for a while now when working with in-house IT teams, and how does GetInSync help solve those problems that will pop up?
Yeah, so the thing is that clients often, and particularly MSPs, don't dive into the application portfolio. And so I'm not sure if you're familiar with portfolio management in the investment world. Of course, you must be. But we take the same, like I said at the opening, we take the approach that it's an investment, not a cost.
Hmm.
And so what we want folks to do is look at their application portfolio along with the technology that supports all of those line of sight applications that the business run, and
Hmm.
look at it as an investment. So what um, is a little unique to our approach is that we want to get that uh, application catalog into GetInSync so that we can all understand what what we need to do in terms of making the top line larger, kind of like in terms of
Hmm.
your income
Hmm.
statement, your bottom line larger. A top line is sales. Bottom line, of course, is going to be reducing expense, maybe increasing your margins, and then risk, right? So we want to talk about risk. So those three things are really the tenets behind Get in Sync, is to try to help folks get over that hump, if you will, in terms of working together and understanding how we're going to grow the business. So I hope that
Now,
answered your question.
it does. It does. It does. So how does Get and Seek help MSPs show their clients the real value of IT, and especially to, company leaders, right? The stakeholders, because that's one of the things that we're always preaching over here at MSP Corner is they need to illustrate the value they offer. And if your tool helps them with that, yeah, if you can quickly, summarize or give us a quick overview on how you do that, because that's important. You gotta be able to stand out, and that's going to be that could be a key factor in winning new business. So, how do you guys do that?
Yeah, so really it's about framing the opportunities. There's a couple of ways to answer that question. So really what I'm hearing you say is that you're really trying to focus on the relationships that you're trying to evolve with your customers so that you can get a line of sight to that long-term strategic initiatives that the business is. So what we want to try and do is MSPs are always kind of brought in a little late in the game. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so uh, what we want to do is move, if you will, to upstream to when the idea starts to actually come about. So
Mm-hmm.
within GetInsync, there's what we call an idea crafting framework. So the intention is to get ideas out of your ticketing system and into GetInsync. So in order to do that, what we have is an idea crafting framework whereby we suggest people put all their ideas into GetInsync, so that then, of course, we would all sit down and look at those ideas and understand what makes sense to do that is aligned with where the business is going. You know what I mean? A lot of the times you get these pet projects, like I mentioned earlier. But having said that, so that's how we spot opportunity. So what you start to do, back to your question, can you show value? Well, you could start to see that you're spotting opportunity, you're having those complex technology decisions, and creating that environment where you can, I guess, shoot the rats before they come, kind of thing. Because what ends up happening is, like, we often get people what they ask for, but it's not what they need.
Mm.
And then we end up owning that because the MSP's like, oh, well, we delivered it, but that's what you asked for. Yeah, it's not working. And so you get into this tug of war. Whereas if we can see earlier on the idea starting to percolate, we can
Mhm.
start to, kind of groom or guide that conversation so that it's going to fit the right thing. So they don't go
Mm.
off and get something completely, ridiculous that, someone read on a magazine or heard from their friend and went out
Mhm.
and buy
Mhm.
it, kind of thing. So back to your point, how do we show value? So as we do those things, those ideas obviously mature, they turn into projects. And then, we have a whole KPI methodology that manages that flow, if you will, in terms of, like, it's very simple in the sense, when I say simple, it has the green, yellow, red metaphor and that kind of stuff. So when someone asks you, hey, are we on track? You don't just say, yeah, things are going okay. You actually say, no, I have 15 projects, 10 are in the green, 3 are yellow and 2 are red. And so then the
Mhm.
guy can lean into that conversation with you and say, wait a minute, 2 are red. And yet,
Mhm.
yeah, I need your help there because the scope is going out of control and I need, you to put it back. So you can start having, like, those conversations that are gonna, if you will, move the needle.
Interesting. Yeah, no, it is this. So let me ask you this, Stuart. Is
Sure.
How powerful would it be to give like a webinar, give visuals, right? Because I'm a visual person.
100%.
Do you have something that we could give our audience so they can view it, and we want to invite CEOs of MSPs to your webinar, but is this something you do, or is it still too soon
No,
to
no. Yeah, no, it's fully cooked.
awesome?
We can show we can show that. And of course, and again, the thing is to lead with the 8-step get in sync framework, right? So it really helps MSPs build those stronger relationships, and so we go through that. The tool itself is the instantiation of all what we're talking about, which is important, and I get it,
Hmm.
and like I said earlier, it's kind of hidden within the software. But it's understanding, the various components and whatnot that's, serves those applications, and that's all in Get in Sync. But yeah, working through and guiding clients in aligning IT initiatives with business goals is what the whole framework's about. And it's helping people really kind of, you know, um, earlier on in the idea creation, validate that whole thing, and then that creates stronger, obviously stronger relationships with senior management, because you're helping them see IT as a critical enabler for business, not, and that's really the key. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, we would certainly would welcome providing that overview and whatnot on a webinar.
Okay.
And a lot of this is on our website too, so you can go and check it out. So.
Okay, great. So let me just share how our audience can find you, because you're at GetInsync.ca, and that's GetInsync.ca. C as in Charlie, A as in America. And you can also reach Stuart by email at stuart@getinsync.ca, and that's Stuart spelled Stuart.
Right.
Stuart, I appreciate you making time for us, because that's the end of our show, and but I want you to stay on the line so we can schedule a webinar and how we're going to promote that. And any last words, or did we hit on everything?
Yeah, I just welcome anyone that's at IT Nation in Orlando this November to come by. We're part of that. The Pitch It. I don't know if you're familiar with ConnectWise, and they have a Pitch It program, so we got accepted into that. And so, as a newcomer on the scene, so we're one of the 25 guys that are on the Pitch It alley. So come and see us there. But other than that, yeah, we look forward to connecting on the web and do the webinar.
Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you to everybody for listening, and don't forget to sign up to be a member at mspcorner.com, and feel free and please share our link with the CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. All right, guys, have a great day. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to sign up to be a member on www.mspcorner.com. Please share our link with a CEO who will find our information beneficial to their business. Have an awesome day.